Hello everyone, it's me, Pat, and welcome to my art vlog. Today, I joined an art contest that I found on YouTube by this YouTuber named Daniela_0, and I will be drawing her character, Mara, in my style. I will also be walking through the different processes and workflow that I use for my digital art. So without further ado, let's get started. References are images that artists use to base their artwork off of. For posing and lighting references, I normally use PoserMod. PoserMod is available on mobile, but it is also accessible through PC on your browser. PoserMod has a large selection of characters that you can choose from, and you can manipulate their joints at will so that they can pose in any way that you want. You can also adjust the lighting as well as the camera angle. I decided that instead of using the default pose from the art contest, I'll be using a more lively pose that I made it from PoserMod. Now that we've got our references, let's move on to step 2, the sketch. For the sketch, I classified my workflow into 2 types of sketches, the rough sketch and the clean sketch. The rough sketch acts as a base for the pose and the proportions of our artwork. The clean sketch, on the other hand, acts as a finalization, and this is where you start to add the details, the hair, and what the character should look like in general. So think of the rough sketch as the blueprint, and the clean sketch as the scaffolding to a house. Which leads us on to step 3, line art. Line art is when you outline your sketch to make it look cleaner. A lot of other artists don't like doing line art, but I personally prefer it because it gives my artwork a smooth and clean touch. Honestly, that's all there is to line art, so let's move on to step 4, which is base colors. In my opinion, base colors is by far the easiest part of my workflow, because all you have to do is use the paint bucket and fill the designated areas with the designated colors. This allows us to prepare for step 6, rendering. This process is by far the hardest out of any step in my workflow. But at the same time, this process is the most rewarding. This is because rendering means that I put all of my blood, sweat, and tears into the details and colors that make my art look from a boring 2D flat color drawing to a colorful 3D-like object. It's quite literally like breathing life into my drawings. One of the most important things, if not the most important thing, to take into account when it comes to rendering is the lights and the shadows. Hence, why this process is sometimes referred to as shading. Before we get into doing our details, we need to know our light source and how it can affect the things around it. In this example, the light source is on the top left. My most favorite thing to render are the eyes, because the eyes can tell you a lot about a character, and I for one like to make the eyes look a bit glowy and make them pop out a bit. I feel as if this stage is pretty self-explanatory. It's just when you adjust the background or adjust some parts of the character or maybe the color, just tweak it to your liking, and that's about it for that stage. And voila, we are finally